Everyone to this first edition of What's New with Factbird. My name is Søren Schønemann. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer and Partner with Factbird. I'm here today with Peter, Chief Product Officer and Partner as well with Factbird. We're super delighted to be able to host this first session of ours. It's a new initiative, as you know. It's a new initiative where we're bringing a lot of our colleagues to talk about what's new with Factbird. We have some exciting news. We're doing it because we have a desire to inform you about what's going on in our community, talk a little bit about the market, show you on the technology, all the great products and features that we've been launching over the course of time. So let's take a look at what we will be covering in the next hour or so. We'll be talking a little bit about the organizational news. We'll give you an insight as to the journey that we've been on. We'll talk about software. We'll talk about hardware. We'll talk about security. We'll talk about all the things that are evolving around our world and our products. So I hope you're up for it, and I hope you'll stay with us for the full duration of the time. I promise you it will be worth every minute of your time. Let's jump into it. Starting at the organizational changes. Big news, you all know it. Hopefully you all know us. We have moved away from our parents' house, finally. We have established our own office and we're totally our own family now. As you know, Factbird is a spin out of a lean manufacturing consultancy firm here in Copenhagen called Emendo. Emendo is focusing on lean manufacturing services towards a variety of various industries, and this is sort of like the core of our technology. Lean manufacturing practices, Six Sigma, Kaizen, to the mindset. But we have for some time been living in the shadow of that. Since 2022, we were given a new mandate to establish ourselves as a fully independent organization with all that comes with that, defining our own space, understanding who we are, where we want to go, drive significant growth. And I can tell you it has been a phenomenal journey so far. We have been working with our brand, we have been working with our identity, we've been working with our website, we've been working with our culture. We've gone from 12 people to 55 people. We have established offices in the US, we've established offices in Germany, in Sweden, we've expanded our footprint here in Denmark, and we've really gone on this amazing internationalization and growth journey. And that's just from an organizational place. Peter will in a minute be talking about the products, but I can tell you it's just so many things that's going on, and I hope you've been able to follow us and stay with us in these past year and a half that's gone by, so you can really recognize and see the transition and transformation that we've been going through. I can tell you it's been really rewarding and fun to be a part of. So this is where we are now, significant growth on all markets that we have decided to invest into. From the start of last year, we decided to focus on some key markets based on where we were already doing good, but also where we are seeing a significant opportunity and match between what we're delivering and what the markets are requiring. And it's a reward to see that we're growing in all markets. Our core focus has been a few selected industries. Not to say that we can only serve in these selected industries, but we are really seeing that within food and beverage, pharma, plastic, packaging, and industrial equipment that we are making some significant progress. We're eager to show ourselves, and we're eager to do even more in the markets we're in now, as well as new markets in the future. The winning aspiration for us is to become a clear leader in the category of manufacturing intelligence solutions. It's a space where we fit really well into this value proposition. It sits within the manufacturing operation management systems, and it has a clear purpose and delivery within that. This is where we focus our strategic intents. This is where we are focusing our organizational investments. This is where we have the product design and product investments going into, and this is where we're gonna invest into the future. But enough about the product, enough about the organization, enough about the market. Now I would like to hand over the mic, I guess, to Peter, who will talk a little bit about more on the concepts and the products.
Thank you so much, Søren, for the introduction. And following Søren's insightful introduction to the commercial landscape, we're going to talk a bit about the manufacturing landscape now, and how we, as in Factbird, perceive and see the future of the manufacturing landscape and the challenges that is facing towards our customers. We know right now there's a lot of real and pressing problems in the world right now. There's economic uncertainty, there's supply chain disruption, including chip shortages, energy prices rising, and there's war in the world right now. In times of uncertainty, it's sometimes tempting to slow down or cut back on what you're already doing. But most of our customers, they actually already know that these are the times where you need to lean into productivity, and you need to lean into tools and systems that help save time in your factory, because at the end of the day, things that are saving times is going to beat the things that are not. And we see there's one thing that really stands out here, and that is staying competitive is hard. It's a constant battle for our customers that they are challenged with. Staying competitive very often for most of our customers means reducing cost. With inflation still impacting our customers' gross margin and companies focusing on reducing costs, I'm extremely excited to see that many of our customers actually save more than 14% on their cost in average using Factbird. For most of our customers, this all reducing cost also means that we need to improve efficiency. And for example, Ortons were able to increase their OEE efficiency with more than 27% in just 3 months using Factbird. That makes me really, really proud to see that. When we are pushing the systems to the limit, we must make sure we are in control of quality. And enhancing quality is something that's going to help us stay competitive. And I'm extremely excited to see Urban Quarter Group being able to reduce the scrap rate from 5% to less than 1% using Factbird. That is some impressive things that we are actually able to help our customers with out there. Another critical challenge, as we see it, is to empower frontline workers out there. Empowering frontline workers is a catalyst for gaining competitive edge towards others, but yet recruiting and retaining is a hurdle for most manufacturers out there. In fact, 82% of manufacturers is right now experiencing labor shortages. And to make that even worse, it's getting harder to retain people and talent into the factories. We know that 60% of the millennials right now are open to change their job within 1 year. We know that they are the least engaged generation at a workplace. And right now that generation is starting to feel more and more in the workforce out there at the shop floors. So what do we do about that? What we're going to do is that we're going to help companies make sure that we give them a value-added work that brings happiness and dignity into their workplace. And that's going to help retain and engage frontline workers. But how are we, as in Factbird, going to help doing that? We're going to do that by giving visibility on the shop floor. Through our solution, we will foster a culture of informed decision making right on the shop floor. We see a trend of authorization is being given to the shop floor and is driving towards the shop floor to do great decisions. But in order to do that, we need to create transparency into the data and to the operation on the shop floor. Another thing is that we see it's important to adapt to a changing world. The world is changing faster than ever, and we need to adapt to stay more competitive. Factbird helps our customers adapt to change, scale up, scale down, and give them the flexibility to address consumer needs. And this is one of the major needs that we see as well. One of the needs that we see in here is the consumer ESG awareness. The rising awareness and forthcoming legislation necessitates proactive approach to this. We have seen that change already in the industry and building materials, and we will see it come to consumer goods as well, which is why I'm so excited to see that Danfoss was able to reduce their energy consumption with 33% using Factbird and the energy meter that we launched earlier this year, which is a fantastic result to see there. And they can address the consumer needs fastly. And last thing that we will be seeing is that lines will reconfigure much more often. That is a trend that batches become smaller, customizations become standard, and our customers will be challenged with many more changeovers and having to deal with the variation in changeovers. In fact, we already do have a solution for that, and we were able to help Scandi Standard with a 40% reduction in critical changeovers using Factbird, which is also something I'm really excited about. Lastly here, we at Factbird champion local manufacturing. To reduce carbon footprint and uplift local communities, we see a need to keep production local to consumers. As we will go towards more autonomous manufacturing, we will see a stop in moving factories from high-wage countries towards lower-wage countries, and we will see a trend going towards having factories local to the consumers. And with these words, it's time for us to get real on some of the things that we're going to help with, and that's why I'm really excited to introduce you to Anders, who's going to talk a bit about our product news from this year. Welcome, Anders.
Thank you very much, Peter, for that introduction. So today we have some exciting product news for you. We'll talk a little bit about preventive maintenance, energy monitoring, how you work with Factbird in your organization, and we also have a bunch of other improvements to showcase to you today. So, first, preventive maintenance. Our customers often come to us and ask, we are already getting all of this information out of Factbird. What is the reason for my unplanned downtime? But can you help me reduce this further? And of course we say yes, we can always help you even more. So we know that the answer for unplanned downtime is often preventive maintenance, but we also know that preventive maintenance is not simple. You need a system, you need structure, you need some practices in your daily work to support this. And one of the things we often hear from manufacturers is that implementing a full CMMS system can be really difficult. Often it will actually require a lot more resources and time than the value it ends up providing because the complexity of the software is so high. So what we hear is that there's a need for some lightweight solution to solve preventive maintenance structuring. And what we've come up with is a system that helps you give that structure in manufacturing. So another part of this is, what is my actual maintenance intervals? That is the question people always ask. This is really difficult. If you have never had good maintenance practices, you actually won't know, right? So that's why I'm very happy to announce that we have launched this year the preventive maintenance module that lets you drive maintenance by production cycles. So not only can you figure out what are my maintenance intervals, but you can also help drive that maintenance using those structures. Another part of this is the operator-driven maintenance that we see out in the markets. We know that operators are more than capable of taking other tasks, and we are hooking us up onto this trend of empowering frontline workers and providing a system where operators can help the scarce resource of technical maintenance personnel. To tell you more about this module, here is Carl, our full stack developer.
My name is Carl, and I'm a developer at the cloud team at Factbird. And today I'd like to show you how to use the preventive maintenance module. You'll find preventive maintenance out in the sidebar here. And the first thing you want to do when you want to use preventive maintenance is to set up a maintenance plan. So we'll go into maintenance plans here and click new plan. Fill out the form, select the line, example here, and a sensor. Refill out. So down here in the bottom, you can choose how the maintenance plan will produce maintenance work orders, how they will trigger. And we're going to click on cycles here to choose production cycles. We can choose when the work orders should start being produced. They just choose now. And then we can choose the target here. And the target is just how many units will be produced before the maintenance work order is due. Let's, for example, say 5,000. And down here at the bottom is the grace period, which is also defined in production units. It's just when the work order is due, how long does the technician or operator have to do to do the work order before it becomes overdue. Just pick 500 here. This is also defined in production units. It is also possible to define these maintenance plans based on time. So let's create it. You can see that it appeared down here. If we go into the work orders page, you can see a list of the next work order for each maintenance plan we have. The list is sorted by when the work orders will become due, and you can see here that we have a work order that's already overdue. It is red because it's overdue. It is blue when it is to do, that is, it's within the grace period. And then it's gray if it's upcoming, and you can see approximately when it will be upcoming. If you go into the lines overview here, you will also notice that on the line card you can see this red wrench icon, the maintenance icon, if you have a due or overdue maintenance work order on this line. So clicking it will take you to the work orders page. So let's complete a work order then. If the maintenance is done in the system here, the operator or technician will just go in, click on it, enter initials, maybe a comment, and then complete the work order. When the work order is completed, you'll see that it stops being overdue and instead becomes planned. The next work order that the maintenance plan will produce is just added to the list instead. If you go into the maintenance plans view, you will be able to see the over here on the right. You can see also all the kind of a history of all the times the maintenance work order has been completed. So, for example, here you can see when it was completed, approximately who completed it, and whether or not it was on time. So that was the demo of the preventive maintenance module. This is a feature that's still under development, so we'll keep adding new functionality as you requested. One thing we're working on right now is that, given that this is going to be used by the operators, it is very natural that the work orders will be visible or available in some way on the register stops page. So they'll be able to complete work orders from the register stops page where they already are. Also, email and SMS notifications for due work orders is something we will definitely add in the future. I hope you are as excited about this as we are. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Carl. So another thing that our customers come to us and ask about is, how can I further reduce my operational costs? We are already getting so much out of Factbird, but we know that it has the potential to do more. So we have looked into, can we actually attack these operational costs? And one of the things we found is that energy monitoring, when you combine this with production data, you can actually find out where you can save energy in a very clever way. So in Factbird, you already have all your accounts and all your uptime, right? So if you hook up energy meters, you can start to see, where do I waste energy, and where can I remove this waste in my production? At the same time, we also heard earlier that Peter mentioned the ESG things that are coming now, and everyone needs to be prepared. This is every company in the whole wide world, right? So Factbird can also help you prepare for this, and you can drive green initiatives by knowing how much you consume. You can look at the consumption level of every produced unit and say, well, last year we actually improved by 10% or 20% or 30%. So this is something that has come to stay, and we believe that ESG will be very, very important in the future and already is now. To tell you more about how this energy monitoring works in Factbird, here is Nikolaj, our full stack developer.
Thank you very much, Anders. I will just give you a quick introduction to what you could see when you mount one of our energy meters and how you can use it in your everyday production. So we jump straight into our live view of a production line here, and as per usual, we have our KPIs here in the bottom. What is new here is that we have a consumption KPI showing you how much energy power kilowatt hours we have used within this certain time frame. So what you could do as a first thing, once you installed it, we could go and have a look at are we spending power when we are not producing. Let's take here, for instance, from 6 Monday evening to 6 o'clock Tuesday morning. We see there's no production, 0 pieces produced, but we still have a consumption of more than 45 kilowatt hours. And this will be the same pattern every night and also during the weekends if we don't do something about it. So already now we can see maybe we should introduce some procedures, turn off the machines when we're done, or even better, program our PLCs to automatically do it when we're not producing. Once we have had a quick look at that, we could also go into specific batches. Let's go and pick up a batch here. So here we have the full time frame from start to end of a batch. Again, we have the consumption, we can see down here, the total consumption for the batch. We also, at the same time, have the numbers of pieces produced. So immediately we can go in and say, what is the average power consumed per product we produced here? And since we can do that for all of our batches and we have our pre-configured system with our products, we can easily get a very fast overview of what is the difference between the products and how should we plan our batches to do it the most efficient way energy-wise. With this information, you could also go in and do a product-specific calculation of the CO2 footprint for each of your products. If you see down here this consumption KPI, where does it come from? I'll just show you here. We go to the sensors tab here on our line, and on the top we have our main counter. On the bottom now we have the energy monitoring solution, where you can easily compare the two and see when there's production. Obviously we have some consumption, but when we don't produce any pieces, there might be places where we still have consumption, and this is a thing to look into. Maybe we have some standby equipment usage or a heating element going off where it's not needed. Another thing to look into immediately. A completely different scenario you could also use the energy monitoring solution to is if you had, say, a mixer, a conveyor belt, something that used more of a constant power. We could go in, open our energy monitoring sensor, and then we could add alarms. We could go in and say, let's say our conveyor, we know it when it runs on maximum load, it should be 15 kilowatts. But if it then goes above this threshold for a certain amount of time, then we should be notified. So we type in our 15 kilowatts here. We type in 600 seconds, for instance. Let's say it needs to cross this threshold for 10 minutes, then we want a notification. We can type in our email or a phone number to get an SMS notifying us that something might be going wrong. It could be an indication that it needed maintenance. So in this fashion you can use these alarms as a predictive maintenance indicator. But overall, the combination of having your production data combined with the energy just opens up so many possibilities to do a deep dive and save on your cost and the energy in general. So we're really excited to see how you're going to use this. And that was all for me for now. I'll go give it back to Anders.
Thank you. I will just quickly change our screens here. Thank you, Nikolai, for that presentation. So, another thing that we've been talking to you guys about is when rolling out Factbird in an organization that is global, how do we manage multiple lines and how do we manage that across multiple factories? See, when you get above a certain number of lines, we haven't really accommodated for that properly in the system. And we've listened to you guys and we've made that possible now. So one of the things we've done is that you can create a tree structure of your organization so that you can distribute different lines in different folder structures. And what that does is that it helps you deploy, manage and scale Factbird so that you can take an overarching perspective and you can drill down and understand what is needed when, so executive can put their attention to where they need to focus and the local team leader can focus on the line that he needs to put his focus on. To tell you more about this, here is Martin, Head of Cloud.
Good afternoon. My name is Martin. I am the Head of the Cloud Development here at Factbird. And today we're going to have a look at the organization feature in Factbird. So we start by having the overview of a super user, going to the administration menu in the lower left corner. And from there, we have a tab called Organization. This particular page enables you as a super user to define the structure, the tree of the whole company, defining what regions exist, what sites exist, and so on in a kind of a tree structured format. It's open to interpretation, meaning that you can define it as freely as you want it to, but most commonly, you define what the company is, and then the different regions. Could that be Denmark or and under there like Copenhagen, as you see here, and even the headquarters and so on. It's up to you how do you define it, but it's just for you to kind of have an easier way to manage the different lines that are set up in Factbird. So here, for instance, we have the different ones, and we have like a manual process in Copenhagen, and we also have a Smart Factory Expo line under the headquarters. The functionality in this feature is that we have the concept of the directory, which is the tree itself, and then the different lines we then assign to that directory. From here, you can add a name to the different nodes, and then also a short description if you wish to. And taking a look at how this looks from a user point of view, we then have the icon up here to the left hand corner, where we have the organization page, the view, from which you then have the tree displayed where you can drill down to different regions or sites, depending on how you define the whole structure. So if we look at Denmark, we can then drill down to Copenhagen and then the headquarters, and then we get a view of the 2 lines we had in that node. And that is basically the organization feature of Factbird, and enables you to kind of have a good overview of the whole enterprise structure, and only have the user focus on exactly the lines they need. So thank you very much, and have a brilliant day.
Thank you very much, Martin. So, at Factbird, we are putting a lot of effort into understanding our customers' day-to-day challenges in manufacturing, but also in using Factbird more specifically. And I brought a few examples to show what great functionality that actually results in. Because we are very happy to listen to you guys and understand the problems and respond to them as quickly as we can. So one of the cases of this was production managers coming to us and asking, how can I rest assured that my processes are running without any major stops when I'm sitting at the office? So we introduced stop alarms, which allows you to set alarms for lines, so that when it stops, you can specify a threshold and you will get an email or SMS notification. Another thing we introduced is a better batch overview. And our customers came to us and asked, can you help me identify that golden batch that tells the story about what went well, or maybe the opposite, what went wrong, something that really displays the failures on the floor. And we just added a few columns that helps you identify that, so now you can compare your actual speed of the batch versus the expected average speed of the batch to identify that golden batch. So another thing we heard is that when scaling Factbird across an organization, it can sometimes be hard to speak the same language and keep the focus on the same KPIs. So in this case, we just added a way to simply turn off and on the KPIs, so that you know what your employees are focusing on and you speak the same language. Another thing that we spend a lot of time understanding is how operators use our system, because we know that it's crucial that they have a good experience in order to create a good data foundation for you to look at. So one of the questions we heard was that when registering initials on a stop registration, you need to type on the on-screen keyboard of a tablet. And we found a solution for this, that you with one single click can enter your initials. It will remember the last 3 initials used locally on the tablet. So again, we try to understand how the operators use the system and really help them be better, faster and more efficient when entering data into the system. Another use case, an improvement of this was the split registration. We know that approximately 10% of all the stops that are registered are actually split when registered. And we found out that it was actually time consuming having to go and assign both stops individually. So we added the opportunity to assign both stops in one go. This way the operators save a lot of time and also have a better, more pleasant experience using the system. We've added a lot of different small functionality like this throughout the year that we of course cannot cover here, but this is just to say we are super happy that you guys are reaching out, giving us the feedback we need to improve our system on a daily basis.
Talking about a much more important thing, that is exactly data security. Data security, we can see that more than 50% of the decision to acquire a new IT system is security. And that's why security is so close to our heart here at Factbird, and we do a lot of work to make sure we are at the forefront also when we talk about security. And to introduce our new security initiatives, I would like to introduce Simon, that is our head of security. Welcome. 24, and now we are gonna be talking about a much more important thing. That is exactly data security. Data security, we can see that more than 50% of the decision to acquire a new IT system is security. And that's why security is so close to our heart here.
We're going to start with an existing feature. This is the single sign-on feature. Most of our customers, they already have some kind of a single sign-on system in their organization. One of the most common ones is Active Directory. With the single sign-on integration with Factbird, you can use this existing infrastructure in your organization to log on to Factbird. This means that your employees who are using Factbird will have to do fewer logins. They will only need to remember one password, and that's the password they use to log into your organization. This is both more convenient for the user, and it's also more secure since the user will not have to remember separate passwords. Another thing the SSO integration allows is multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication gives you an extra layer of security since you would have to have a separate knowledge besides the password that the user already knows. I highly recommend to everyone that they enable MFA for their logins in their organization. Lastly, I want to highlight how single sign-on allows you to centralize your user administration. This means that you can easily configure which users have access to Factbird and which don't. For example, if an employee has to work on another project where they don't need Factbird access, you can easily disable the access in your SSO system. If you're interested in using the SSO integration with Factbird, please contact your Factbird representative. Next, I will talk to you about a new feature. It's a new feature called OAuth 2 Client Credentials. It's recently launched, so it's brand new, ready for you to use. With OAuth 2 Client Credentials, you can connect your existing application. This could be an ERP system, it could be a Power BI that needs to use the Factbird API. And using the OAuth 2 client credentials, you can do so in an industry best practices way. One of the benefits of OAuth 2 is that it automatically rotates the credentials it uses. This means that it reduces the time frame that credentials are exposed, which leads to an overall better security posture. Again, if you are interested in using this, please contact your Factbird representative. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Simon, for bringing us at the forefront on the security topic here. I'm really excited about that. Next up here is that we're going to talk about some of the hardware things that we have been doing in the Factbird to enable getting all the data, all the insight out here. And first thing up, I would like to introduce you to Kenneth, who is our IoT and hardware engineer here at Factbird, and how Kenneth have been helping us getting it more easy to get analog data out of Factbird.
Yes, thank you very much, Peter. So we have expanded the functionality of our Factbird Duo. Now it's possible to connect up to 2 analog sensors. This is possible because we now use this analog converter. So how do you set it up? You take the analog sensor of your choice, put it into the converter, then you connect the converter to the Factbird Duo. As soon as you plug in the converter to the Duo, the red light on the Duo will turn on green, indicating good connection. So what happens here is the signal from the sensor will be converted into a digital number that will be transmitted by the Factbird Duo, and within seconds you will see the data in the Factbird application. We support any analog sensor with 4 to 20 milliamp output, so you can use a output from your PLC, or you can use a temperature sensor, humidity sensor, energy consumption, or flow rates. This setup gives you the flexibility to choose the exact sensor that fits your needs. So one feature that goes well with analog monitoring is our alarm system. Here you can go into the Factbird application, set up upper and lower bounds, and during production, when the analog value exceeds these bounds, you'll get a notification by email or SMS. This is a really essential feature for real-time monitoring. That was all for me, so now I'll reintroduce Nikolai, who will talk about energy monitoring.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. I would like to give you a quick look into the hardware side of our energy monitoring solution, because it is not a new thing to monitor your energy consumption in Factbird, and we know how important it is to collect the energy data. It gives you the insights and to enable you to produce more with less energy, and it has been proven to be very valuable to several of our customers already. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, Danfoss has rolled out on 30 machines, saved them over 8,300 kilowatts hour each month, equivalent to 22 average Danish households, and 1.8 tons of CO2. And that is just by looking at the standby consumption and reducing that. So this helped Danfoss reduce operational cost, as well as reaching another step towards their sustainability goals. But the feedback was also clear. The data was of immense value to them, but the installation was complex. And we would like to have all of our customers take part of this journey, start monitoring the data, the energy consumption, and compare it to the data and the real-time production. That's why we've been looking into a way to make it easier for all of you to opt into these options. And that is why we have developed this new way of monitoring your energy consumption in Factbird, and that is with our new clamp-on energy monitoring solution. The benefits of this is that it is a non-invasive technology, so it might not even require local paperwork when installing it into your machines. It's fast and easy, which is perfectly in line with the previous products you're usually used to have from Factbird. And of course it's adaptable. It's a flexible solution that will be fitting your specific needs, whether you want to measure on several small machines or very large machines, or a combination of it all. You should be able to easily plug and play, get your data out, and start working with it. You can, once you collect the data, you can do the reporting of energy consumption. That be the total for your site per line, a machine, or you look into different batches and products. And as mentioned earlier, you can start figuring out CO2 footprints for any of your products. The correlation between your process output and the energy data unlocks the true potential of this solution across your entire organization. To optimize the power consumption, drive down costs while reducing CO2. And just to show you how quick and easy it is, I have brought with me here the simple clamp-on that you need to mount to get the data out. What you typically find in your production is that you will have a main power supply cable going to your machine. As soon as this cable comes into the control cabinet, it will be split up, into the ground cable, the neutral wires and the phases. So once you're in there, you find the phase wire. And what you do, simply you take your clamp, go around, make sure it's securely fastened around, and then this clamp already starts measuring the current running. You have connected this through a normal wire to your Factbird Duo, and you're up and running. You got the data in the cloud, and you're ready to make the right decision based on data. That was all I had for now. As a little note to all of you looking with us here today, I'm happy to announce that we will be running a campaign where you'll get connected for free. So we'll provide you with the hardware necessary to gather the energy information and get it all the way to your Duo, so you can start streaming it into the cloud and be better already tomorrow. With those words, I will hand the mic over to my good colleague Søren, who has some more exciting news from the hardware department.
Thank you, Nikolai. That's very exciting. My name is Søren, and I'm here to talk about the Factbird View. So, first of all, we all know that when you're evaluating what went wrong in a production batch or what caused the machine to stop, it's an invaluable tool to have video output of your production line. And while the original Factbird View has helped a lot of you improve this process, we now aim to improve that even further. And that is by introducing the Factbird View version 2. Now, first of all, what are we trying to address with this? And many of you have given us feedback regarding a wish to raise the quality of the video. Many of you have also mentioned that you have issues setting up these cameras in harsh production environments, perhaps because you produce a lot of dust when your production is running, or you require thorough cleaning. And lastly, many of you have raised concerns about your employees' privacy when you're filming your production floor. And that's what we'll try to address with this new product. So what does the hardware look like? The hardware looks the same as the old View, and the setup is also the same. So you power it on and you connect it to the internet, either through Ethernet or setting up the Wi-Fi with your phone. What's changed is that the new version is made to interface with industrial IP cameras. Now, using industrial IP cameras opens up a lot of new opportunities, and at the moment we're beta testing these products as some customers, focusing on these improvements. First of all, the improved video quality. So IP cameras, they come in many shapes and sizes, but our suggested standard product is this camera here, which films in full HD and 30 frames per second, which will allow you to pick out way more details from your video output. We're also testing out cameras with improved video angles, which could, for example, be a 360-degree camera. You can imagine the value of mounting a 360-degree camera at the ceiling of your production floor, and from just that one single camera, you'll have an overview of the entire room. We're also testing cameras with IP ratings, and in this context, that stands for ingress protection, and it's a certification of what the camera is able to withstand. That'll usually mean that it's able to withstand a certain amount of dust, or it's able to withstand a certain amount of water. And this should mean that even the harshest production floors should be able to have video output that's reliable. And lastly, all the cameras that we're suggesting come with AI-based privacy blurring. And this means that on the camera, it will automatically blur out any human-shaped form, so you can film your production floor and not worry about your employees' privacy. Now, these last few points, while they aren't in our current technology, we'd like to give you a little glimpse of what we see coming in the future. We've been testing cameras that runs with high frames per second. We've been testing cameras that runs up to 180 frames per second. And this should allow even the fastest movement productions to film it and get the reliable details coming out. Secondly, we're also testing cameras with wireless connectivity. This is kind of new on the market, but it means IP cameras which simply stream their video to a Wi-Fi configuration. This will allow us to place the Factbird View box in an entire different location as long as it can pick up the same Wi-Fi signal. It can then pick out the stream from the Wi-Fi signal and stream it further onto the cloud. And of course, this means a lot more flexibility in how we set up the view, and it means less wires on your production floor. That's all from me, and I'll pass the spotlight back to Peter.
Thank you so much, both Søren, Kenneth, and Nikolai. I'm really excited to see about all these new hardware things here. That's gonna make it more easy to use, more easy to install, and much more easy to get value of. And then I would like to welcome you back, Søren.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to you, Peter, and thank you very much to the entire team that is been on stage today, but also the production team behind it. We're in a super cramped room right now. The temperature is fairly high, but I think it's been engaging and fun, and I hope the people out there who's been watching this has found it truly valuable as well. We've come to the closing thoughts and the questions, and I know we're running a little bit over time, but we have promised you that if you had questions, we would address some of them. So I can just take a look at some of the questions that's gone in here. One of the questions is, will we share this presentation? Yes, we will share this presentation afterwards. So that's a tick on that one. There's a question on what is the biggest challenges that Factbird customers encounter with deploying the system?
I think one of the biggest challenges that we see for our customers is actually the whole change management. It's so easy just to implement Factbird as a system, as a tool to get up and running, get all the data out there. But the challenge is actually to get, how do we get people to do the right things using the data? It takes some change management effort. And we actually had a fantastic webinar with Finn earlier last year, where we actually talked about in details about change management and how we can drive the right behavior at the shop floor.
Yeah, and Finn is our founding member of the company and also a managing partner at the Lean Manufacturing Consultancy Mentor. So truly an expert in his field and a person to know what he's talking about.
Absolutely. So make sure to check out that earlier edition of the webinar here.
Excellent. We'll move on to the next question. Is there a shift screen possibility where only the current shift is visible with large text and numbers so it could be seen from larger distances?
Right now we have a shift screen in form of our shift dashboard in there. And we actually, we always do a sensible default whenever we create new dashboards. And then we allow our customers to configure each dashboard to match their need. And as well on the shift dashboards, there's the possibility to go up in the corner and start clicking things on and off that you want on the line. And you can try out playing with these features to see if you get the screen that you really want. If you don't get the screen that you want to see, please feel free to send some feedback to us so we can do constant improvement of what we are showing on the shop floor on these screens here.
Awesome, great. And I think we'll take one last question. And the question is, how does Factbird anchor domain knowledge in the system given the trends we see now that employees change jobs more often?
That's a really good question, because anchoring domain knowledge out there is so difficult, because right now we see these operators that have been at the same factory for 50 years, and they have so much domain knowledge that they're able just to walk in the door to the factory and then they can just hear out of nowhere that there's something wrong over here. And they know already what to do because they have seen it so many times before. When we have these trends with people are changing jobs more often, it's harder to get people to come and work at the front line. It is a challenge, and that is what we are trying to solve with the new Factbird action plan module there, anchoring this domain knowledge so we can still benefit from the past domain knowledge out there.
All right, cool. And we're going to go a little bit off script here, and there's some more questions. This is great, guys out there. You're throwing questions in the chat. That's exactly what we want. Alexander is asking, any rough timelines on the new features, more specifically to the PDCA announcement?
The PDCA announcement is going to be rolled out in a few steps, and we are planning to roll it out in the start of Q2 next year with the first version of it. If you would like to sign up to beta test some of these new modules, reach out to us on our LinkedIn community. This is where we announce some of the new things where you can try it out before it goes out to public trials.
Great. Excellent. And we'll take, I think, a final question from Joey, and that is, any plans to address environments with hundreds of thousands of unique part numbers? possibly recording the part number instead of creating full batches?
I think we are definitely seeing a change here, going towards having a production that only produce one thing. Now we see customization through standardization. We start to see that there's a lot more varieties of the product that goes on the same line, and at some point we will move towards each part is individual. We see that already in the car industry. Whenever the car goes through the paint shop, the first car that goes in might be black, the next car might be red. It's on the same line in the same paint cabinet that they are doing that. So we see that as a trend, and of course we are also looking into how are we gonna adapt our system towards such a future. It will not be here tomorrow, but it will be here in the future, and that is all I can say about that.
Well, fantastic. I think that answers the question as well. I want to thank everyone who's participated in this first edition of What's New at Factbird. It's been a pleasure on behalf of myself, Peter, and the rest of the team to have you listening in. Before I let you go, I just want to mention that we had a promotion Nikolai was throwing out there. We will be sending this out in our newsletter and in promotions, so stay tuned for that. I think it's an opportunity you do not want to miss. It has tremendous impact combining the production data with your energy consumption, so make sure you utilize that for sure. Another thing I will say here is, if you haven't already signed up for our technical community online or signed up for the technical newsletters as promoted also, please do that. You can find the community in our LinkedIn profile, and I encourage everyone to participate that. And that will be the final words from us. Thank you very much from the bottom of our heart, truly, for listening in. I hope you found it inspirational. We'll sign up again later on. Thank you very much and have a great day.